Tonight, for the full hour Bojo party picture holding a wineglass gate, I'll be puffing myself up with so much righteous indignation the steam coming out of my ears will make my hairpiece rise 6 inches above my head. We'll talk to some fellow who knows a bloke who has an in to someone who takes the minutes for the 1922 committee. Are we going to see Sue Gray? Is that coming tomorrow or maybe next week? We'll pretend to take Jeremy Hunt seriously. We may go in depth with Rishi Sunak, assuming he's not over in America renewing his green card. Oh, God, I'm so sleepy. Oh, thank goodness, that was all just a bad dream. As I said yesterday, Boris Johnson holding a wineglass only matters if Boris Johnson matters. And it's not clear to me that he does, not really. I appreciate that if you haven't got a footy team or a boy band to follow, party politics can be a semi-satisfactory substitute. But on everything that does matter, domestic electoral politics is increasingly peripheral because, as we've discussed on this show, we are moving into a post-democratic age. Here's how the people who do matter think about these things from the World Economic Forum, now underway in Davos.
The rise in billionaires has been, unprecedented during the pandemic, and there's been several sectors where that has been mostly concentrated, and one is, in fact, the pharma sector, because COVID has been one of the most profitable products ever.
Oh, I see. So COVID is super profitable, a bit like Facebook. And this new monkeypox is kind of like Instagram. Who are these people? Well, as we mentioned yesterday, Nick Clegg is in Davos with the security detail. Mr. Clegg, oh, sorry, son. Sir Nick, used to be Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom under David Cameron. I believe that is why he got a knighthood. And once upon a time, Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom used to be an achievement in and of itself. But for Sir Nick Clegg, it was just a stepping stone to burnish the CV in order to become what he is now, President of Meta Platforms. Meta is the new name for Facebook, and that's why he's in Davos with a security detail as opposed to sitting in the Commons dozing through the second reading of the Stansted Airport carbon-neutral car park expansion bill. Brexit was about taking back control from an unaccountable bureaucracy of transnational technocrats who know what's best for you and are more or less impervious to the will of the people. 2 years in, does it feel like you're in control? The United Kingdom remains subject to the European Court of Human Rights, which is the excuse given as to why the phony baloney quote-unquote asylum seeking, i.e. human trafficking operations from the French coast, have to be facilitated by Her Majesty's government, as if the human traffickers and the Royal Navy are engaged in some sort of joint NATO exercise. You could solve that by withdrawing from the European Court. After all, English law has spread to every corner of the world and has a pretty good reputation, pretty good record. So it seems slightly odd that in England itself it has to be subordinate to Azerbaijani and Albanian judges. I'm being perfectly serious about that. Azerbaijani and Albanian judges whose legal tradition has a rather spottier record. But instead of pulling out from the court, we put all these, quote, refugees up at the Holiday Inn, which costs you, the taxpayer, £4.7 million a night, which doesn't sound a lot in the scheme of things. The money's the least of it, really. In an age of big government, where government has spent all the money we're ever going to have until the 22nd century, we blow through gazillions of pounds on all kinds of stuff. But because they can't get actually tough on the problem, they're getting tough on the problem's massive room service tab at the Holiday Inn. So the 4.7 million quid is used as a pretext to move 1,500, quote, asylum seekers to the abandoned RAF base at Linton-On-Ouse in North Yorkshire. As we mentioned yesterday, that's roughly twice the population of the village. And because they're all male and mostly young and frisky, Linton-On-Ouse will have the worst sex imbalance in the land. 4 men for every 1 woman. The villagers are not happy about it because, to state only the obvious, it will tank their property prices. You'd never know they're not happy about it from the BBC coverage, where the Beeb somehow managed to quote 5 random villagers, one of whom thought other unspecified people might have a few concerns, but the rest of whom were all in favour of this new asylum centre in the heart of their community. The group Hope Not Hate, or Hate Not Hope, I always forget which way round it is, suggests that locals are more concerned about, quote, right-wing fascists from out of town making Linton their cause du jour. But the issue is more basic than that. What is the point of politics if a village, going back to the Doomsday Book in 1086 and even earlier, can simply be demographically overwhelmed by some bloke at the Home Office who doesn't fancy his chances with an Albanian jurist at Strasbourg? I see one villager has invited Boris Johnson to spend Jubilee weekend in Linton, where he can participate in the democracy versus autocracy tug-of-war. I fear that tug has already been lost. We keep being told that any day now, just you wait, any day, just you wait, the first asylum seeker will be on a flight to Rwanda for processing. OK, maybe not today, but tomorrow, next week, certainly, next month tops, certainly by the autumn. Meanwhile, the first asylum seekers will be arriving at Linton-On-Ouse on May the 31st, just in time to join the Jubilee festivities. If a sovereign government has no say over national borders, then what the hell is the point of it? But Cake Gate, Vindaloo Gate, Ginger Growler Gate, yeah, get a life. They all do that. It's not a party thing. They've all got cake, they've all got curry, they've all got ginger growlers, and you got nout. Wouldn't it be nice to have leaked photos? Maybe Dominic Cummings could come up with some of these. It'd be encouraging. To have some leaked photos of a political party where they're scoffing down Victoria Sponge and chicken biryani and ginger growlers because they're working late into the night to regain control over the supposed national border.